Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play. Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, the podcast that explores the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. You are about to experience something that rarely happens. The patrons have taken over the show. That's right. I've been on vacation this week, and it just happened to coincide with the end of the month, time to do the patron chat, and I didn't have my gear or anything that I would normally use to record or edit this week's episode. So the patrons decided that they don't need me anyway, and that they could get together and discuss the third episode from season 2 of the Fallout TV show without any of my guidance, and that they had plenty of things to say. So, you know what? I figured they're super awesome people. Why not give them the opportunity to do the episode instead of waiting for me to get back from my trip and missing getting this out early enough for people to be excited about hearing more about some of the things they may have missed. So you're about to get the breakdown. They're going to react to all the good scenes in the episode. They're going to speculate about what things mean. They're going to tie things to lore from the games. They're going to do all the things I normally do, but you're going to bring a lot of minds together and you're going to get lots of different perspectives on this episode. And it's super fun because it's the patrons. So big thanks to all of them for getting together to help me out with this, but also to Pumpkin for hosting and Void for setting up the recording. And I'll be back next week with a regular episode that I normally do by myself. Plus, I'll catch up on welcoming all the new patrons and doing all the call outs and all the normal stuff I normally do. But thank you to everyone who supports the show and all of you for being here. Get ready, because the Wastelanders are running the vault this week. Here we go.
You know me as Pumpkin from both the Patron Chats and Dungeons and Dipshits. Today we're going to be talking about episode 3. I am joined by some very lovely patrons today. Jeremy or Void. Everybody knows Void. No Phil, no Thrill. I'm just going to say Ash because my brain will not be able to say that. Adam's Child, Little Green, and Ebony Kitty. We might have a few people come jump in throughout the episode. I want you guys to unmute and tell me what Fallout pre-war food do you want as your last meal?
Yum yum
Freshly preserved pie.
Ooh. Okay, we got quite a few yum yum deviled eggs there. That was interesting. We're going to be talking about episode 3 of season 2 of the Fallout TV show, which starts out, in my opinion, really funny. It starts out with Thaddeus's face. Thaddeus at the beginning of, ghoulification. He still has his nose, but you can definitely see the bone, that kind of deal. Does anybody else want to talk about this specific scene? Because, I think there's a lot to this scene that was really cool.
2 words. Child labor.
Gaslight.
I did see Phil raise his hand, so Phil.
What if Thaddeus is not turning into a ghoul? What is when he's turning into a super mutant?
He could. Again, as it's brought up later, they're just all abominations.
Yes.
But yeah, does anybody else have an idea of what if Thaddeus is not turning into a ghoul, if he's turning into a super mutant or something like that?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too, just because of thinking it back to what he was inoculated with.
That's true. Yeah, we don't even know what it was.
Yeah, we don't know what he was inoculated with, so it's possible that he was given FEV and it's just doing whatever it wants with his body right now. So we probably have no solid thing of he's becoming a ghoul or he's becoming something. For all we know, he could be turning into a centaur slowly but surely.
Yeah. So I think one of my favorite bits about this scene, the whole Thaddeus in this warehouse, I'm fairly certain that this is just the Sunset Sarsaparilla warehouse, because they're just opening Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles, taking the caps, and he's like, you guys are making me money. He's not treating it as my favorite bit, he's not treating it as a labor camp. And I think that's amazing, because he's trying to teach them respect and all that. Does anybody else want to talk about what exactly is him and what is happening in this warehouse? No, Phil?
Yeah, I liked, especially, it's child labor, but I like when he said, remember, most children your age would be dead by now. He has a point there. I mean, it's still child labor, though, but he really has a point. When they need care, he's providing it, not like in a super caring way, but you can see yeah, it's like you said, he's not running it like a labor camp.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, where's he getting all these kids? They had to have parents somewhere, even the ghouls.
I was about to say there's one thing you gotta think about. The ghoul have had kids that probably not that hard to find. But
There are human kids.
I think yeah, he's got a mix of both ghoul and human kids.
This is just how orphanages.
I think he just kind of like emptied an orphanage. That's what I'm guessing.
All right, kids, follow me to this bottling plant. Let's get rich.
I think just the fact that he's treating it like it's not a daycare, but like he's treating them like they're his own kids.
Which he's actually a pretty decent parent.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that have grown up in worse situations than that.
Yeah.
Just some light gaslighting here and there.
Or as Phil said, in my opinion, one of the best lines that comes from this specific scene is, "Now remember, everybody, say it with me. Most kids are dead by this age."
And then immediately following that, the line is, "Okay, we've got 12 hours of work done, 10 more to go. Let's go."
Yeah. So, but yeah. And that's kind of like where that scene ends, is where like it's just it gives us an opening of like where's Thaddeus in this whole story. This next one is we finally get probably one of the coolest openings to a faction from this. Who wants to start this one to bring this up? Talk about the Legion. Adam.
I was gonna say the first thing they think when they see Lucy is okay, let's figure out her prima nocta right now. She's obviously being someone's wife.
Forgot that was that. Oh, Ash, did you have something to say? You looked like you were reacting to that.
Well, I wouldn't say she was going to be somebody's wife.
Oh, yeah, this is the Legion.
Air quotes. Yeah, exactly. This is the Legion we're talking about. But I did love Lucy like ripping into them and pointing out the flaws in their like no, this is a prima nocta is not even Roman. It's middle ages, and they were really messed up people.
I do want to say I thank you for bringing up that she called it out, because like this is finally, because like it was always theorized of like, well, a lot of this Legion stuff is just wrong. This finally like gives us an answer of the Legion are just dumb. They are like some of the dumbest people that like I've seen, and like there's a lot happening with this Legion, but we still have not talked about what was revealed and who it was.
Macaulay motherfucking Culkin.
We were all
I'm proud because I was the one that called that. I called Macaulay Culkin being the Legate, and I'm so proud of that.
I mean, okay, you called it in this podcast. In our Discord call, I called it.
Yeah.
So I want some credit too.
We did. We kind of were like, when we were coming up with the ideas when we were watching the trailer, we were like, this kind of looks weird. But does anybody want to talk about the issues that the Legion are having at this moment? Anybody?
I mean, the interesting thing is the Civil War. I mean, but that's a little bit further along in the episode. Am I not wrong?
Well, it is brought up during like this sequence.
Okay. Because the whole Civil War thing being over, who is truly the next Caesar? Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, and the funny thing is like the two camps are right next to each other. Like that is just like we obviously see a little bit later, but like it's a powder keg just waiting for a spark.
Yeah. And what's interesting is there's two Kaisers.
Yes.
We get to see one, and we actually get to like hear him talk later on in the episode. But there's one that's like they're talking about who is the true Kaiser, and the only way that they know to find out the truth is the body of the Kaiser from the game is in the middle of both camps on top of a wall, and he's got the answer in his pocket.
Mm. And no one's able to get to it because
they just shoot
on sight. Shoot on sight.
Like, have they been doing this for the llast 15 years? Like,
Yeah.
how soon after the events of the game did the previous Kaiser die?
Hey, Kitty, do you have any insight into the Legion section here we're talking about?
Not really. My whole thing is just the fact of like they just like one, why is Kaiser's body in the middle of these two groups? Like did they just like did he die there as he was pulling out the piece of paper? Or did they just like, oh like we'll put Kaiser's body here, you guys live over there, we'll live over here, and we will fight over his body.
So I have a theory. This just popped into my head. He went up there to announce who was going to be his successor, and Boone shot him.
I like that theory.
I like that theory. Yes,
I
and he's been there a while. That is a skeleton. That body has been there a while.
That body's been there for a while.
Well, I mean,
sure.
A body like just in the wilderness with wild animals, like in the wasteland, you don't mess with wild animals, and like that body is very picked at, you know.
Yeah.
Very.
So it's probably it could have been there for 6 months for all we know. But I mean, like they are very established on each side, one more than the other. But in theory, it could have been there anywhere from the right after New Vegas ends, or it, like I said, it could have been 6 months. So in reality, we have no way of telling, and I don't think we're going to get that answer.
Yeah, probably not. Jeremy, do you want to take us into our next scene here at the hospital?
Yeah, sure. So the hospital was beforehand, was it?
No, because we're back at the hospital because of the ghoul.
Oh, right. So keep in mind, okay, for context, all of these episodes are meshed together in my head because I watched everything over 2 days, including season 1. So they, God. So if I'm remembering correctly, the ghoul is crawling out of the basement. Is that right?
Well, he's kind of leaning against a pool. It's just so
Okay.
that was episode 1. The ghoul is leaning against the pool.
Right. So the ghoul is like crawling up to this pool and he leans against it. Dogmeat is right against him, pretty much. And Dogmeat watches as he pulls a knife out and just digs a piece out of his leg. So yeah, we have that. That's fucking nasty. Sorry for the expletive, but damn.
It was very gross, yes. Let's open it up. Who else is like either notes or like anything about this scene of him grossly just cutting himself open? Ash, you were raising your hand.
So I like the quote that Cooper, like his little monologue to the dog about, which basically boiled down to how much of yourself can you take away before you become completely unrecognizable. And he was using the boat analogy to do that. Not quite Ship of Theseus, because that's replacing parts, but definitely a good analogy. And he literally cut out the poisoned part of himself while he was saying that. Like, how much can you take away from yourself before you're unrecognizable? And I thought that was a really deep thing that hits on the moral dilemmas you face in the games.
Oh, totally. That is, yeah.
Yes, because cutting out a piece of your leg or dying is a moral dilemma.
Oh, there's a parallel. I think there's like a parallel there.
It's a parallel. It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Phil. Yes, Phil.
about this scene that it shows that the ghoul or Cooper Howard, that he's actually a well-educated person who has a lot of knowledge. And that it's like the ghoul and Cooper Howard are like almost two different persons. And he's starting remembering who he once was, and he's remembering more of it.
Yeah, like I will agree. Like that, like he's not a like. Whereas like sometimes like he'll say something and you'd be like, man, that was really dumb, and then like, but like he's in all reality, he's a really intelligent person. Like I get ghoul. Like some people look at a ghoul and go, that's not a person. Yeah, it's a person. Shut up. After this scene with the ghoul cutting out his leg, we get our first flashback. Sorry, Ash, did you have something?
Shoot, I wanted to say, it like even after 200 years, he still hasn't lost like any of his intelligence. You would think, you would think with his level of radiation and the degradation to his body that he would have lost, some of that, some of that knowledge that he has and that ability to like make, metaphors and analogies and things like that. But no, he still can be eloquent in his speech and not, like he doesn't seem to have lost any of what can make him human.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Like so like you with the other radiation, you'd expect a lot of like mental depreciation, which it happens to a lot of ghouls and a lot of the people the during the ghoulification. But yeah, right after this scene, we get our first flashback of the episode, which is it's Cooper Howard flashback that starts with him talking to his wife about a keepsake box. Is there with the scene with this keepsake box onwards into the next, because the flashback goes on for a while. Does anybody want to talk about any bits of this? I would love to hear your guys. Jeremy?
It almost seems like she knows when the bombs are dropping. And she probably does.
Yeah. At least she knows when Vault Tech plan to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like a major red flag. Like, why would you be packing a to-go box with all your keepsakes that are already like things that you enjoy in a daily life? Unless you know exactly when the bombs are dropping.
Oh yeah. Like the whole keepsake, she's crying. He doesn't get a clear answer of like if they fall, right? She doesn't give him a clear answer. At which he leaves to go to a award ceremony for his buddy Charles, who we find some things out about their past together. Does anybody want to talk about this military award ceremony? Because like there's some like lot of detail in this specific scene to the bathroom scene. Ebony Kitty.
So one of the first things I want to point out is the congresswoman that is speaking for the event being completely against anything we've known about the previous like politics in the Fallout world. She's not into corporate bribes. She's not into like mass funding for anything that isn't like the public. She even says, like, I may not have the money to put my name out there, but I still have my moral grounds that I'm able to stand on.
100%. And like she also like when watching, she also seems like she doesn't want to be there. That's one thing I also noticed. Jeremy, you got something?
No, I pressed a button and my computer made a noise, meaning OBS recorded it.
Oh,
I was in the middle of Ebony speaking. I am sorry. Ah, boy.
Hey, well, for the OBS let's redo that, Ebony. You were talking about Congresswoman.
I'm sorry.
All good. So I don't know which part it cut out, but essentially she is completely anti-capitalistic brand. She is a person for the people, is the way she described and held herself.
That is, yeah, and that's a huge thing. And I'm gonna jump us a little bit just for trying to keep in time. We kind of jump to the Coop has looks at the girl woman and is like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We end up in the bathroom and someone starts talking to Coop, and they're talking about how they're talking about like the people that are against a lot of the stuff going on. Does anybody have anything about this scene, like the bathroom specific? Oh, Ash. We'll do Ash and then we'll go Adam's Child.
I liked the framing of the scene, like the cinematic framing of it, because once Coop is standing at the mirror, we'll see Coop both, standing in front of the sink and in the mirror, but we only ever see House like either in the mirror or when he's standing behind Coop. We never see him.
That's a really.
We never see him reflected.
Never really thought about that.
Yeah, we'll see Coop standing there and in the mirror, but not House. He's either one or the other. And I thought that was a very interesting framing to show that there's a word I'm looking for. That House doesn't really, I guess that House doesn't really show all of his cards, that he doesn't, show his true self, because a lot of like mirror lore is like reflections like show the truth. I think. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting like framing.
Yeah, Adam Shad, you wanted to say something next.
Well, I wanted to say the main part of that scene that was really racking my brain was like, why is Robert House there? And I know it's because he needed to talk to, or I guess he wanted to talk to Cooper. But like in the conversation, they're talking about politics, and he keeps accusing Cooper of being a sympathizer towards communism. And Cooper continuously points out throughout this conversation that that Robert House isn't a veteran. And I think they're really trying to show in this scene the big differences between their characters.
Totally agree. And I think another thing that we have to point out is that Coop has no idea that this is Mr. House.
This is true.
He has no idea. They're just talking at this point. But it is not. There was no introductions. The Robert House just said, "You're Cooper Howard, and you're here for Charles." He never introduces himself in that scene whatsoever.
But he does tell Cooper that he will see him again.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I disagree with that statement, that he doesn't know who it is.
He probably figured it out halfway through the conversation. I will say that, but I don't. But there was no introduction of that's Mr. House.
Well, he is the richest man in America who owns half of Vegas.
But there are one thing you got to remember is that the world sees multiple different faces that is labeled as Mr. House.
I mean, you can kind of get context clues, but at the same time, like, it's almost like, at least to us who see him all the time, it's immediately clocked that
it's clocked to us, that's him. But to like Cooper Howard and to like the rest of that world, they wouldn't exactly know what Mr. House, like there's multiple faces. Like they see somebody who's on TV, they're like, oh yeah, that's Mr. House, when this is the actual Mr. House.
Nobody in the bar in episode 1 knew that was Mr. House.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Even after he showed them quite a lot of money in the trunk.
Right. They didn't even bat an eye.
Yeah. But yeah, there's the whole conversation of like, are you like, you're one of them, you're a star veteran, and they say I'm not saying it verbatim because I don't remember the word, but it's star veteran communist type deal. But we're now like with that he goes, you're clearly not a military man, calls it straight out, and then leaves the bathroom.
To quote him,
yeah, go ahead.
Says, I'll say it because I just found it so hilarious. You ain't a veteran, because a veteran wouldn't be talking politics with another man's dick in his hand, or something along those lines.
Something like that. So with that, that is the end of the flashback, and we get, in my opinion, one of the cooler scenes because of the background. It is this room where there's a meeting happening where the West Coast elder is talking to the Yosemite elder, and they're in this treasury room. This room full of like artifacts and treasure. That's like, and a lot of it is like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. A lot of us in this call has like, as I've talked with Ash earlier, the most noticeable thing that we recognized was Van Gogh's Starry Night in the background behind Maximus. But like, there's like throughout this entire room, there's ancient artifacts. Does anybody want to talk about specifically the scene itself, like either the background or what's happening? Because like, there's a lot that does happen in this scene. And Phil, you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, and other interesting detail in the background of Quintus, there's a map, and according to that map, the Brotherhood controls Hoover Dam.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Because there is a Brotherhood logo where Hoover Dam is supposed to be.
Okay. Wow, I didn't catch that, Jeremy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the Hoover Dam is in the Grand Canyon. Am I wrong in saying that?
I believe it's near the Grand Canyon. It's not really a part of it.
Okay. But either way, there is a Grand Canyon sect of the Brotherhood, which would be controlling that.
Okay.
There are at least 5 that we now know of.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, with episode 2, we know that there's a lot, and we actually get to hear a lot more from the Yosemite. We get to see the Yosemite one a lot more, a little bit more in this episode, and the Yosemite one, like the Yosemite elder wants nothing to do with this. The second that the Commonwealth got word, the Yosemite one's like, I'm out. And they tried so hard to convince the Yosemite one with like the whole religious stuff, and she goes, "I'm not in for the religion." Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up with this specific scene of them? Because like, there's a big moment at the end of the scene, Phil.
And other interesting detail is there's one logo of the Brotherhood on the map which looks like it has the Minutemen logo under them. So maybe the Minutemen got folded into the Commonwealth Brotherhood? I can send a picture later.
Yeah, send that a little later. Like, I didn't notice the map. I just kind of like, my brain didn't register what was going on the map. Adam's child.
I just wanted to put my 2 cents in for that scene. Now, is the next thing at the end of the scene that you're going to be discussing how Maximus is treated?
If you want to talk about it, please. I don't want to be the only one talking about this whole episode. I'm here to help with you guys.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say the way Maximus is treated in this scene absolutely disgusts me. Also, I was kind of disappointed in Maximus when he was like, I could just kill the dude that's giving you an issue. And then obviously the leader's like, well, that's because you're stupid and you're a sword. So
the specific word that was used, this is the dimness of the sword. Ash, you have something, Ash?
I think I like to think that the reason that Maximus suggested just killing off Harkness was a way.
Is that his last name?
It's his last name, Harkness.
Okay.
Paladin Xander Harkness is his name. Was just a way to like try to keep within that inner circle that he has now become a part of.
So you think he was kind of just playing the part?
Yeah.
In a sense?
Yeah.
No, I know that this was in the episode before, but like, I want to say, like, I like the red jacket that Maximus has on. Like, I think it's a really cool jacket. And I know it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. I just wanted to bring up that jacket is cool.
I agree.
But now after this Maximus gets treated this way by his own elder, he leaves the building and he ends up running into Xander, and Xander starts talking to him and trying to convince him. Phil.
I think this was a very powerful scene because I think they did a great job showing the different issues of the Brotherhood within the different chapters. Because Quintus is a cleric who's very smart, very educated, but he's completely aloof from the common member of the Brotherhood. You could see it how he ridiculed Maximus in front of his fellow clerics. And then Xander comes and he instantly connects with him.
Yeah.
I'm saving this for later, maybe.
I mean,
Totally fine.
kind of going off of Phil, sorry to interrupt, but Xander also comments like how the Commonwealth is not led by the religious people. It's led by the clerics. It's led by the soldiers. So it also is showing off like each group of the Brotherhood is led by different people within like different leadership. So like it's different mindsets. So because we even like saw like the one woman that was in the meeting saying like, oh, I'm not for all the religious stuff, but like she's not one of like the cleric religious leaders of her group. But it's just like it seems like there is such a rift when it comes to the Brotherhood between what they want to do, and we see that in the games too, because between like at least 3 and 4 of like what their goals are.
Yeah. So
One thing quick.
Yeah.
I think this also ties greatly in what House said in the scene before about one person trying to solve a problem and many person trying to solve a problem. Because the Brotherhood chapters, they are all flawed, but they are all flawed in their own way.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the one thing about this scene about Xander and Maximus talking is that there's a couple of things going on in the background. Like when like the scene starts, we see there's like this very clear German like World War II APC that they're like unburying from the sand. The half track, thank you. And then I noticed this earlier before we started filming because I watched the episode before we filmed. There behind Maximus, there's just a knight who keeps crouching and uncrouching in his power armor. And I'm like, what's going on?
Are you saying we had a Halo teabag moment?
I don't know. That's the thing, because like it was like every time that you look back at Maximus, the guy's going up, like he's going down and then like slowly back up. Ash, you got something? Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He's either doing squats in the most random spot, or he's like trying to tell that scribe how to lift
That might be it.
the box that's in front of him, you know?
Yes, that was my thought as well. I thought he was trying to show the scribe lift with your legs, not your back.
I could just imagine the argument. The scribe's like, well, it's easier for you. You're in power armor.
I think like I'm just because I'm watching as we're discussing, but I think it's I don't see because like I'm looking at two people. There's one guy getting his armor. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Because you even see like they're like he's saying like, oh, lift with your legs and your arms. You can see him like talking to them.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's just like he's just yelling at him like, oh, this is how you lift it. Like use your properly lift something so you don't hurt yourself.
Adam, you've got something.
Yeah, so I wanted to go back for a second, back to what Phil said about how I forget who he said mentioned that everyone's trying to fix something at the same time. Who said that?
House.
That was House. Well,
bathrooms.
So that is actually a parallel to what Maximus said in the first season to Lucy, where he said everyone wants to save the world, but they can't agree on how.
Oh, okay. I never even caught that.
Yeah. So they are similar, but also different mindsets.
So after as this scene comes to an end with Maximus talking to Xander and they're kind of having a bonding, quote unquote bonding moment. We jump to the ghoul who has been looking for Lucy and ends up finding her at the camp, strung up on as they say in game. Degenerates like them belong on a cross. Lucy was put on a cross earlier in the episode.
Can I just say, her right hand, the one that doesn't have the Pip-Boy on it, could have gotten out of those ropes so easily. And she just struggled against it like an actor should when a knot is tied poorly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
breaking
okay,
the immersion
I think
for me.
breaking the immersion for you, but I think that's like the adorable goofiness that is the Fallout series.
Yeah.
But this scene specifically I like because it gives us a look at the other Caesar's Legion group that we see that is mentioned. And I brought it again. I said this to Ash. It's very clear that the fake Kaiser that is over on the other side is wearing a fat suit. Because it's not even like they're trying to hide it. No, like you can see like halfway down his chest is where the fat suit begins. It's very prominent. But I think it's hilarious because it fits the Fallout charm. Ebony Kitty, do you have anything? We haven't heard from you in a while.
Not really. Not on this thing. The only thing I could bring up is the fact that it shows the duality of how East Coast and West Coast are run, how Maximus is holding to the chain of command, whereas Xander is just absolutely throwing that away.
Yeah. That's actually my brain words. Jeremy, do you want to talk about Camp Golf?
Oh, wait, never mind.
Who Little Green, do you want to talk about Camp Golf?
Well, I don't like. I
do you
did want to
wanna-
talk about the one. There's one thing I love
Go ahead.
about the camps, like the two Legion camps, was they're literally like almost mirrored to each other. Like, and they have the Kaisers facing the same direction. It's just like so ridiculous. Like the civil war that's going on between them. But what I got excited about was we meet one of my favorite characters from New Vegas. Like shortly after, we get to see Victor.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'll give Camp Golf to Little Green. Little Green, you want to talk about Camp Golf? Go for it.
But it's just like I love how we get like introduced to Victor in this, and the Ghoul and him seem to have a history. But we don't know what that history is like because Victor says his memory has been messed with. So it's also just like, what has Victor been doing since the time that we saw him as a player? So he's been doing something, and
there's been a lot happening. There's been a lot
happening. So like, it's just very obvious that like the Ghoul has a long history of just being in this area.
Yeah, which that was amazing to me, where he was like, Victor knew the Ghoul.
Yes.
Victor was like recognized, like, weren't you like that?
The one thing that like goes through my head a little bit is Bethesda has said that they're being careful not to choose a canon ending for the games. And I remember like in one of the previous patron chats that we had, I predicted that the player never happened. So like we as players never happened, so we didn't make decisions. But I feel like they're inserting the Ghoul in a way
in specific areas.
In specific areas to have those relationships to like influence, because like it seems like there was never like at this point, like I'm making this like the assumption that like no one faction won Las Vegas, because the Legion's still there, the NCR is for like barely there from what we could tell, and like House from just previews and stuff like that is, you know, present.
Yeah,
from what we could glean at this moment. So I'm like, I think my prediction of like,
it's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
We like the player character was never a thing, so like they're taking their own like route.
They're trying to do some. They're trying to fit in.
They're trying to like
trying to fill the
bypass.
gaps.
Hey, New Vegas happened, but it didn't go the way that like the
Yeah.
game have happened. So it's just, everything was just like a standstill. It just like kept on going the way it was.
Jeremy, you have.
Can I bring up a theory in that point? I'll meet you
Go for
halfway and say that the ghoul was the player and took a other option.
That's what I was trying to get at. Is like the ghoul is taking the place of the player and just like did his own thing, but never finished
Just
the quest.
okay. Well, at that case, who has the platinum chip?
This is a very I'm Spartacus kind of situation.
That is the one thing.
Phil had raised his hand.
Later on, we see a Securitan who has been upgraded. Yes,
That's true. It is. It's the soldier face. He has been upgraded, so it's got to be after the platinum chip has been used.
Yes.
So are we saying House has the platinum chip?
Maybe.
Because I don't.
We don't.
Vegas,
Again. So, well, that's a conversation for another time. For me telling you what happens,
or just repeating me about not finishing it.
I like this scene specifically, this very big NCR. We're in Camp Golf. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. There's a lot of posters, but my favorite thing that I noticed for the split second was the Mr. House picture standing in front of the robot, which is an actual thing that is in Camp Golf in New Vegas. But
I'm trying to find it in the
which one, the Mr. House picture?
Yeah.
It's a very blink and you'll miss it kind of moment.
Oh, okay. So then I'm not gonna worry about it. Well, yeah, I guess like it's if you're catching that, it's like it's just the
It's a very like
a reminder of like Mr. House is everywhere. House is everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I would figure.
Especially because like it's
you're muted, Little Green.
He's certainly a large figure in New Vegas. And even still to today, people talk about him, it seems like. But then you also are seeing posters for the Legion and for the NCR as well in this place. So it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot to take in, if I'm being honest.
No, you're good. Okay, I'm going to kind of railroad a little bit. Just because so like we can get some like a bit further on because we're only about halfway through the episode at this point talking. We get the ghoul meets with the NCR remnants is what I'll just call them because like they are the last NCR from what I can tell in the Vegas area that we know of for now because there might be more, but for right now we've only seen 2 up close and multiple in the background and like 3 or 4 in the background. But I will say they kind of mixed up the Ranger armor because it was like the Ranger mixed with the Desert mixed with the Riot armor, which I thought was really cool. After that, the Ghoul, the NCR were no help. The Ghoul were, I'm leaving. I'll get her myself. And then we get the Ghoul's interaction with the Legion. At least give me a second. No, okay. we have a Maximus and Xander scene when they get to the warehouse. And they end up fighting the robot. And this is where they explain, like, this. It's kind of like, this is my super sledge. This is what it looks like where I'm from. Does anybody want to talk about this fight scene? Because it's a really cool fight scene.
I will.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry. So, first of all, we called that it was a super sledge. That was one thing.
But that was kind of an easy figure out, though.
Well, no, because all we saw was the handle. All we ever saw was the handle of it. So we called that.
Okay.
And then, so the fight scene is pretty much they just figure out a way to beat up this robot.
No, that was bullying. That's what it was. It was not fighting. It was bullying.
But I mean, from what I can remember, because I think I was occupied while watching this episode, so yeah, great job on me for being prepared. But from what I can remember, they basically just torture this robot, and eventually Maximus lands the final blow, punching his fist through the screen and pulling out its fusion core.
It's a very Indiana Jones Kalima.
Yeah, definitely.
Did anybody else notice the music that played during that fight scene?
It was
It was the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
The Star Spangled Banner is playing during this fight scene.
I'll get Ash. Ash, you've been trying to give me a little hand signal.
Yeah.
So
This is just a stupid little thing, but when the robot's like voice was going back and forth between the Securitron and the massage, I thought the massage dude kind of sounded a little bit like Claptrap from Borderlands.
Also,
didn't
what
catch
business does that robot have giving massages with machine guns and missiles?
You know what? Sometimes
One
you
word,
just need
fist
a
up.
holy massage. All right, a holy massage from God.
I also want to bring up, Xander has to have some sort of like mutation from 76 because power armor should not jump like that. There's no way he should have gone from 20 feet away, jumped once, and been in the face of that guy because he's not wearing a jetpack. Power armor doesn't jump that high.
Well,
We've seen it in game.
we've seen the arm thrusters. Those are pretty.
But
much
he had this. He wasn't using in the scene. He's not using an arm thruster, unless he uses like the thruster from the hammer to carry him.
You know, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, but the one feeling that I got from this whole entire fight scene was just showing off. That's the whole thing. Like it's the Securitron literally had no effect on the armor, but it was just you had Xander trying to show off the sledge, and then finally Maximus coming in and like finishing it off and being like, oh, like we kind of get to see like what power armor can do, but it's also just like they're just trying to one up each other, it seems like, because like this is the one time like we see Maximus having fun out in the wasteland, and it shows, I guess, also another inkling of like what the Commonwealth Brotherhood is like versus the group that's in New Vegas at the moment.
Yeah,
So it just shows
I also
discipline difference.
I also think that this specific scene is like, to me, it shows Xander's kind of showing off. He's like, yeah, the Commonwealth Brotherhood is better than all the other Brotherhood. That's what I got from this scene. Is also, yes, Adam's child.
I also thought it was a setup for the future use of the hammer.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll get to that. that happens near the end of the episode. But yes, we will talk about that.
Because beforehand, during that fight, he was like, "Oh, look how fun this really powerful weapon is. Do you want to give it a try?" Yeah, thanks. Awesome.
Yeah, just hands him the hammer. They hear and then they kind of hear a noise and they're like, "Did you hear that?" And then like it skips to the next scene. Does anybody want to talk about this Legion scene where the ghoul goes and saves Lucy, like gets Lucy out? Go ahead, Phil. Sorry, Phil raised his hand. I'm sorry, Low Green.
Yeah, Phil first.
I thought it's interesting because it's intertwined with the next scene where Charlie talks about saving Cooper, and I especially like about the scene because at the beginning of the episode, it seems that the ghoul was right, that the golden rule is useless in the wasteland. But in this scene, you could see that the ghoul he still wants to be a good person.
I totally agree with that. Like that throughout like this scene plus like the flashback shows that Cooper Howard the ghoul it's the ghoul, but Cooper Howard is still somewhere in there. Um there's a lot actually that happens from this scene where he goes to save Lucy. So he brings in he goes, I'll give you information, but you know how this goes. I give you something you want, you give me something I want. Which is still, like that's kind of in my head, that's still the ghoul talking. That's the ghoul part talking, but the saving her is the Cooper part talking. Does anybody want to talk about that flashback where like the conversation? Esh, I see you.
I really liked that Charlie's speech was like bleeding into the modern day bits when he's cutting her down, when she's getting cut down off the crucifix and being rescued by the ghoul. And I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but like it's a very poignant, like my words are failing me, but I really liked how like it was cutting back and forth between the modern day
You
and
the
the
similarity
pre-war,
between
the
the two.
cinematography. Yes, the cinematography in this episode was absolutely gorgeous.
It was insane.
But I liked that like it kept cutting back and forth with Charlie's speech, just the only like dialogue during that whole like back and forth.
Yeah, and it also like we actually finally get to see a side of Cooper that we didn't really like get to see in season 1, and that is the veteran side of Cooper Howard. We get to see what he was like. We get to hear about what he was like when he was during the Battle of Anchorage. And like, go ahead, Adam's child. I'm trying to pass him off as much as possible because I don't want to be the only one talking. So Adam's child, go ahead.
Sorry, this is just a slight insert. In the Veterans Hall, is Cooper Howard the only person not wearing a uniform besides House?
I think so. From what I like, at least he's not wearing any military memorabilia in that sense.
I feel like there has to be like a sort of significance with that where it's almost like Cooper Howard feels like he might be slightly disconnected from the veterans.
He probably is. Ash, you had something.
I did see others that weren't wearing uniforms, but they were, I think, primarily women. So they were probably like the spouses of the men who were there. But I think he was the only guy who wasn't like in. No,
At
I
least
think
had something.
Hold on.
Yeah, there's I know what you're talking about. I think a lot of especially you were bringing up the Veterans Hall, in a lot of the people, the guys there, were either in uniform or had like the medals or the hat, or like or something along those lines. So like he was probably the only one that didn't have his the military memorabilia.
I was gonna say the one thing I might glean from that is Cooper. Yeah, Cooper. We all know that Cooper was in the military, but it's probably something he's trying to forget because it's like we know that he was ex-military, but he doesn't like to flaunt it. And by flaunt it, I mean like he doesn't like to like a lot of veterans you'll see like wearing something that commemorates, oh, you're like Vietnam vet, World War II vet, just something. You don't see him do like wear anything that signifies, yes, I'm a veteran, I'm proud of this. That's probably like he probably doesn't have the same pride in being a veteran as everybody else at the VFW.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that also during the story where it is being told that his friend what was his name?
Charles.
When Charles was telling his story about saving someone's life and Cooper Howard was in that story, he looks to Cooper and he's like, do you remember what you said? And Cooper kind of dodges it because he doesn't want to admit the great thing that he said. He said, how's my hair? or something like that. Something about his look.
How do I look? I think.
How do I
How
look?
do I look?
Right?
Yeah, but in reality, he says,
How are the others?
Which-
So he didn't admit that he had compassion towards his other soldiers. Now, whether that was just for a joke or if that was him trying to separate himself a little bit more from the war times, I don't know.
yeah. Now that we see like the veteran side, it jumps to back to 200 years, almost 300 years down the line, to Cooper now getting Lucy out of the Legion camp. Yes, Phil.
I have one more thing about Charlie's speech.
No, go
I
ahead.
also loved that he mentioned that he was wearing T-45 power armor, and that it was so hard to walk into things because in New Vegas and Fallout 3 they give you -2 agility.
I forgot they gave you minus agility in those games. Yeah, it was really bad. Ash.
Also want to point out that the award that Charlie got was like some decorative flip lighter that he then gave to Coop, who still has it 200 years later.
I will agree, but he also said, do you remember why he gave it to Coop? He says, I got this for saving a man, not for the 3 people I had to kill doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that was a hard line. Like, oh, but it jumps to modern day where, as you said, you see the lighter, and the ghoul here kind of lights the powder keg in a literal sense. Does anybody want to talk about this? It's a very, I see Little Green unmuted. Did you?
No, I guess like the back and forth like is really like showing the original Cooper Howard side of the ghoul, and like he still has his humanity and he knows he has to do the right thing, and that right thing is starting a civil war between the Legion, the 2 factions of the Legion that we have, and saving the NCR people sometimes so that they could leave. So that's my guess of what that like lighting the powder keg actually does. Yes, Void.
So I think there's a double entendre here, because this is just after the conversation with Charlie that they were talking about like being communists again or being against America again, and he specifically says you have to bet on one side or the other, and sometimes you have to wonder whether you or not you bet on the right side. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely that aspect of it as well, him thinking back to his past life.
And there's also I want to go back to the lighter itself. So Charlie got that for saving someone, not for killing the 3 people he got to do it. He uses that lighter to save someone, but also like going back to like he just like set off something that is gonna kill a lot of people.
Yeah, he said it's either the right thing or something incredibly stupid.
Yes. So.
But right after this, so we see so what I mean by lighting up a powder keg in a literal sense is he literally just blows up several barrels of dynamite that sets off a battle between the 2 warring Legion factions, which this next scene kind of has a same situation that we'll be talking about. Jeremy, do you want to talk? Who wants to bring? Actually, no. I'm gonna open this up. Who wants to talk about the Xander and Maximus finding the group of ghoul and unghoul kids? And also run into Thaddeus again. I see your hand, Jeremy, but I'm reaching out further. Love you, Jeremy.
So funny thing that I just
Go ahead.
it does it
what?
automatically. I did
What?
not put this hand up here.
Oh, did it do it on its
literally
own?
Put my hand up and it did it on its own. That's kind of cool. Cool.
Phil, did you raise your hand?
But Jeremy can go first if he likes.
Jeremy, do you want to go first?
I can. Yeah.
It's either one of you can go. I'm opening it up to you guys to talk about the final scene here.
So the final scene here really shows the, for lack of a better term, Nazi side to the Commonwealth Brotherhood. in the fact of he quite literally separates all of the, quote, smooth skins from the abominations and says to the not infected children to close their eyes before Thaddeus runs out in front of his gun. And as Xander is about to fire, Maximus comes in and smashes the helmet of the T-60 power armor that Xander is in. He just smashes it in with a super sledge,
which kills him instantly. Phil, yeah, let's hear from you. You wanted to talk.
I love, especially I love two things about this. I love that. I mean, the whole point of this expedition was that Xander wanted to convince Maximus to either step down or join in, and I think he actually had him. And if he would have not wanted to kill the children so badly, I think he would have had Maximus. But because Xander, like everyone else in the Brotherhood, is a fanatic, he can't get out of his own way. And I'm with Jeremy. This really shows like the fascist aspect of the. Especially the Commonwealth Brotherhood, that ghouls and mutants, they're not seen anymore as sentient beings. They're just abominations for them. But what I also loved is like Thaddeus, that first he comes out the last, which implies that he's a coward. But then he stands up to Maximus and begs or tries to negotiate for the life of the children. Despite having no leverage whatsoever. So this really takes guts.
I mean, yeah, like that makes, that's totally true. Ebony Kitty, you had something you wanted to say.
So we know Xander is not dead, actually. And the only reason I say that is because there are scenes from the trailer where they're running away from from one of the paradwins blowing up.
But we see a person in armor and we see Maximus. Maximus is not in the armor. So it could be somebody else in the armor.
Are they in power armor? I thought it was.
Yeah, there's a person in power armor and there's Maximus.
Okay, never mind.
So, thinking of now, that might be Thaddeus. Go ahead, Phil.
There is a crazy rumor on the internet that Xander is a synth, and that
that would be wild.
Die because he is a synth, and I don't know, but it's wild, but it kind of makes a little sense, I think, because I mean, I always forget the name of the actor, but I think it's a really big actor, and it's a little odd that they get such a big actor and then kill him off basically in the first episode.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we might see him. We don't have any confirmation on that, so we'll see. I thought it was really strange that they killed him immediately, but it was also kind of funny to me. The second I saw the hammer go down on the top of the helmet, I was laughing actually because that was really funny to me. But yeah, Maximus kills Xander. Xander falls down dead. It was very I think what made it so that Maximus didn't did it is because there were ghouls, but they were children. I think that's the real reason he did that, not the fact that they were like, because he's called ghouls abominations in earlier episodes.
And I mean, like, he's also of the mindset of like, if they have like a human state of mind, then they're all right. And as long as they're not trying to kill me, they're all right. Like, yeah, it's my job, but still.
And and Adam, go ahead.
So I just wanted to emphasize, because you said that he specifically didn't want to kill the kids because they were kids. There's a little back and forth between when they were like, when the gun was aiming at the kids and it was like, oh, they're abominations. And then Maximus says, yeah, but they're kids. He says they're still abominations. Yeah, but they're kids. Is
Yeah.
basically that's all Maximus cared about at all throughout that entire interaction.
Yeah. Phil.
I also thought it was an interesting detail that Xander then quotes the Codex and says the Codex is clear among this, and then Maximus says "fuck the Codex" or something like this. But like in the episode before, he argued exactly the same way when he was arguing with Dane. Then Maximus was like, yeah, well, it's the Codex. The Codex is clear about this. We have to follow the Codex no matter what.
Yeah. I also want to point out, like, I didn't bring it up earlier in the episode. It's easier to see it at the beginning of the episode. All of these kids are dressed as like little cowboys and shit from like, and that's what gives it away that it's the Sunset Sarsaparilla plant to me, is that they're all dressed as like cowboys and cowgirls. I think it's funny and adorable. But the last couple of lines here kind of makes it parallel to the Legion section for me is Thaddeus goes, "Oh, hey, man, how's it going?" And Maximus just goes, I think I just started a war." And Thaddeus's line is great. Jeremy, do you remember the line Thaddeus says?
No, you can say it. I've got a different line from Thaddeus I like.
Okay. Thaddeus just goes, "Well, I'm the floor manager here, so I've got some stuff going on too."
My favorite line is when he first pops out from under the machine. He goes, "Hi, yeah, I'm the manager here.
Does anybody else have any does anybody else have anything about this scene or anything in the past? Just to talk about? Nothing?
I guess the one
Thank
thing
you.
sorry. The one thing that I am noticing is when we first meet Maximus, like he's like gung ho, wants to be like something when it comes to the Brotherhood. As he has done more and more and has gotten more of a position, we see him being like, I don't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want to be like, because like going back to like the whole like, oh, Xander's like gung ho, Codex, but he's like, but they're kids, like, and so I guess like he's seeing the people of the wasteland, whether they're Gould or not, as just people if they have like good intentions. So
Agreed. And sorry, go ahead. You finish.
So it's just like it's nice to see like his character is forming more. He's standing up for himself. That's the biggest thing. So he's showing that he does care for something, but it might not be 100% for the Brotherhood. Or at least a different goal of the Brotherhood to actually protect people and not whatever it is right now.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like the three main characters that we have each have like they're all having their own inner conflict. Lucy with, her dad and then her golden rule, and especially now with the like her experiencing the Legion, I have a feeling that that's going to heavily lean in the fact of like I don't think the golden rule is going to apply anymore, whereas the Ghoul is now like am I still that guy? Could I still be the good guy? And Maximus is now, I thought this was right. Now I don't know anymore. Does anybody have anything about anything else? Phil.
Yeah, I think that the underlying theme of the episode was everybody has a civil war now.
It's just war. Hey, guess what? War never changes. Ash, you got something?
So like whether it's a like external conflict between like no, Phil's right. Everybody's got, their own civil war, whether it's like an internal, like personal civil war or what like the Ghoul and Lucy, or it's like an internal faction war. There's like, there definitely a bunch of civil war going around. Like a
yes,
plague.
Adam.
The thing that I wanted to bring up was kind of what do you guys think about the Commonwealth Brotherhood? Do you think we're going to see Elder Maxon show up later?
That's a really good question.
100% yes.
I would like to.
Because, well, their Pridwin has to transport over here. So
Yeah.
Also, side note, I don't remember if it was an episode earlier or in this episode, but during a flashback, we see a original Pridwin that's all silver.
Mm,
Yes, it's the skyline of Las Vegas before it was new.
Right. That was an earlier episode. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was
I do
kinda
know what you're
cool.
talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that was earlier on. Yes, Phil.
Is this before the war?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
this
a
was
before the war sequence. I'm remembering it because I think it's like episode one,
I
episode
think
one
it
of
might be
season
the
2.
bar. The bar.
I think it's right before the bar scene. Yeah, they're in like the LA area. I remember it. Does Ebony Kitty, you got anything you want to mention? You want to say about the episode? Yeah, haven't heard a lot from you, so
No, I have my piece there. I've had
Okay.
my piece on it.
okay. Does anybody else have any feelings or things they want to say about the episode as a whole? Anything at all? Go ahead. Yes, Phil.
Especially about the episode, but about I would hope to see Elder Maxon. I really would like that, but I'm not sure we will. But I mean the fact that the Commonwealth chapter is so powerful. I mean it only means two things. It means the Brotherhood ending or the Minutemen ending for Fallout Fear is probably.
We wouldn't. With what Jeremy brought up earlier, is they're trying not to go down any specific route. I think it was Jeremy or it was
Yeah.
Little Green. Either one of those two brought it up.
That's right. But I mean, just the Pridwin didn't get shot down, and the Brother chapter wasn't decimated in the Commonwealth. So
Ash, you had something you wanted to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short there, Phil.
no problem.
Because Xander was when he and Xander were in the vertibird on the way to find something to fight. He literally he says that they could lose the Commonwealth, which I take to mean that the Institute is still around. And that they're still fighting the Institute because that's the only major powerful faction in the Commonwealth. Because the Minutemen aren't that powerful, and the Railroad is not really a threat.
Yeah.
So, and I think that that he was talking about the Institute when he said it could be worse.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me think that he might be a synth and not know it.
That would be that I can totally see that. If does anybody one more chance? One more time. I'm gonna ask. Is anybody anything else? We got some Little Green?
I want to go off of Ash. Like with that line of thinking, like if the Institute and the Brotherhood are still fighting, the player character never appeared in any of this.
Yeah.
So like it's literally just an open book. Yeah, the events still happen, but the influence of a player character, like saying, "Oh, I'm going to choose the Institute. I'm going to choose the Brotherhood. I'm going to or choose like the Legion, the NCR, whoever." Like it's just like it just didn't happen. So, which is how they're going to keep open things just open canon. So when it comes to the games, so there's no specific ending. So I like how that's happening, and they're just kind of and they put it in the future so it could be okay, this is how we're gonna just end it. But I feel like that's what they're trying to do, to not be oh, this is how this game ended. Oh, and how this game ended. Because the other thing is with we know nothing about DC and what happened with the Enclave there. But because you could go have DC is now a flourishing metropolis because they had the garden the Gek get fixed and they have clean water and everything like that. But that's not even a topic at all because we're not. Well, granted, we're still in Vegas, so.
You brought up the Enclave. We know that they're still around from season 1. We know the Enclave are still a thing. Do we think we're going to be seeing the Enclave at all this season?
We've got a little bit, just because if we still had an Enclave scientist in season 1, he had to be reporting to someone, and the Enclave being the Enclave, they're going to show themselves when they need to.
Yeah,
because they're
that's. I have a feeling near the end of the season, because this is cold fusion we're talking about. This is undeveloped. This is one scientist that did it at the Enclave and escaped the Enclave to send it to somebody else. I have a feeling we're going to probably see it either the end of this season or at some point in the future of the show.
I agree.
Adam.
I would also like to add that in one of the later Fallout 4 updates, the Enclave also got involved, so that does show that they were involved later in the timeline.
Yeah. If that's whatever, if everyone's got said their piece, I think we're ready. Okay. Well, I think that's it for the patron chat. I think it's time we do our outro. I think I'm gonna read in order from how Tom does it. I'm gonna read it in order by how I see it. Jeremy, you want to tell us you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
First, Mr. Dipshit.
No, I'll
You're
go.
not
I'll
Tom.
go.
Do you?
Nah. I'm Logan. You know me as Pumpkin. I do have a blue sky, and I'm on Dungeons and Dipshits. I do want to say thank you to Tom for letting me do this. It kind of was a surprise it was a surprise. What do you mean, Jeremy? What's that face, Jeremy? What did you do?
Your internet shitting itself. Oh no.
Oh,
okay,
no.
I'm gonna do his outro for him. So he is Logan Williams.
Okay, am I good?
Pumpkin King. He has a blue sky at the Pumpkin King, the I's being ones and the E's being threes. He also plays Access Little Light on Dungeons and Dipshits, a live play D&D podcast. And I think that's all. Did I miss anything? Anybody that can remember his shit?
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah, he got that res. I do want to say again, thank you to Tom for letting me have this experience. It was awesome. I'm glad I got to do it. Now let's jump over to Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, or Void. You can find me on the Discord, and I don't have any social media, so I'm not going to plug that. But I am the host and DM of Dungeons and Dipshits, a live play D&D podcast, which you can find anywhere, Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And that's about it. My DMs are always open if you need something.
Okay, cool. Ash.
Hello, I am Ash, Brachio Dreamer Ash. You can find me on the Discord under the same name. Always happy to chat. Don't really have, anything going on like these guys, but yeah, always happy to chat.
Well, thank you for joining us, Ash. Adam's Child. Let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Adam's Child. You can find me in the Discord, in the Robots Radio Discord under Adam's Child. And you can find me on Instagram at _JT_Sims with 2 M's.
Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. And as Jeremy said before we did the show, he's the hot one.
Those of you who are on audio do not know that yet.
Yeah.
Even in audio, you're hot, pal.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's jump over to Little Green. How we doing today, Little Green?
I'm doing good. I'm Lil Green. You could find me on Instagram. You could follow my photography there. I am also on the Discord. If you are playing Fallout 76 on the PC, I would love to have a couple of people to explore the wasteland with. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Follow my photography page, please. I want more followers. That helps me out.
Yes, please do. His photography is amazing. No Phil, no thrill. Let's hear it from you.
Hi, I'm No Phil, No Thrill. You can write me on the Discord. Oh, and if any German speakers are listening, you can check out the NukaCast on Twitch every Sunday, 9 o'clock in the evening. We are reviewing the episodes from the TV show, and I might be the guest as well in the future.
That's awesome. Yeah, guys, go ahead and check out the NukaCast. It's I hear that one's a pretty fun one. Ebony Kitty, you're last. Let's hit you up.
Well, so the only thing I have to say that there are 303 days until Halloween. Yes, spooky season never sleeps. except for now. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else to plug in. I'm on the Discord under the same name. Just, I don't know, hit me up if you want to play.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you to all you guys for being here on this episode. That's it for us. This has been the Fall Lorecast. I'm Logan, and again, as I said earlier, war never changes.
Bye-bye, everybody.
To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Reach out to me on Twitter at robots_radio. Check out the Robots Radio Rocket Club, where you can join me and a bunch of our other creators creating your podcast, starting a new podcast, or helping your current podcast grow. There's more information about that on robotsradio.net as well. And you can always talk with us and the entire community, over 2,000 people on the Robots Radio Discord. Come join us. We'd love to chat with you. See you guys next time.